So we've talked about how to use our emergency vehicles, but it's also important to discuss features that are recommended for increasing responder safety. We also want to make sure we know what safety equipment should be included on our vehicles for use on highway incidents. The National Fire Protection Association 1901 discusses lighting, reflective striping, and other safety enhancements that should be added to response vehicles. This regulation covers specifics such as 50% of the rear of the vehicle being covered in reflective red and yellow stripes in a chevron pattern sloping downward from the center of the vehicle at a 45-degree angle. The stripes must be 6 inches wide instead of the measurements for the side and front, which is 4 inches combined width. Now this is an example of the required reflective chevron on the back of emergency vehicles. And here are some other examples of the chevron that include the yellow striping. There are also guidelines of the inside of doors. This helps increase visibility when crews are entering and exiting the apparatus. Here's another example of an apparatus design that has a largely visible marking on the back. Police cars also have striping on the back to make the vehicles stand out. You can see that this fire truck is slightly different but still contains the angled stripe. And lastly, one other example of striping on the back of a fire truck. Recommended safety equipment to carry on emergency vehicles might include 5 28-inch high fluorescent orange traffic cones with reflective markings, 5 illumination warning devices such as flares, and 1 traffic safety vest for each seated person. There are 3 types of flares that can be used in a temporary traffic control zone: flares, chemical light sticks, or light-emitting diodes. Some pros and cons might be that flares can be used to supplement a cone's reflective power. The manual also states that nightsticks can be used instead of flares when trying to provide additional illumination to a cone. Flares are also the most effective when used with a stand. So some cones have this collapsible design, making them easy to transport and store in vehicles with minimal space. Here is also a list of some other recommended equipment such as scene tape, radios, and handheld signs. So sometimes large traffic control equipment can pose a storage issue inside of the vehicle. It's a good idea to consider more portable options like the collapsible cones or to dedicate a certain cabinet just for safety equipment. Here we can see an example of several traffic control devices in use, such as the cones, the advanced warning sign, and we have a flagger with a handheld sign. These portable collapsible signs are a great option for warning of incident scenes. They need to be of the standard symbol so that it is easily recognizable. Reflective material for better visibility at night, and then 1 per each direction of travel needs to be placed. Even though you warn the upcoming drivers, you still need to remember there are drivers going the other direction that are headed towards you as well. Handheld signs are nice when you're having to manually direct traffic. They need to display a basic one-word message, and many of them are lighted to increase visibility. High visibility safety apparel examples from the left: Class 2 vest, Class 3 vest, pants, and public safety vest. Each class has different requirements for the amount of reflective material and coverage of the garment. For example, sleeves, width of reflective strips, reflective material location, etc. There are some standards from 2007 that establishes design and the use criteria for highly visible vests that reflect the needs of public safety workers. So here we see an example of Class 3 wear. It has reflective stripes on the wrists and ankles and is great for high visibility on the highway and high traffic areas. This one we see has a removable Class 3 jacket. The vest that remains underneath is a Class 2 vest. So we may not think so, but there's an obvious difference between a vest and no vest. No vest is dangerous as it makes you nearly invisible for drivers and other responders. Not wearing a vest, this could also have consequences related to worker compensation. For example, a responder who sustains injuries while working at a traffic incident may not receive full benefits from their insurance if they were not wearing their vest. If you need a simple and straightforward vest policy, consider this: if your feet are on the street, your vest is on your chest. This is kind of a neat picture that shows you how each type of protective wear shows up in traffic lights differently. Notice the guy in position 3 is almost invisible when he's standing straight in front of the vehicle. Some best practice guidelines are to always wear your highest visibility gear when appropriate. Full structural gear may not be the most visible, and if you aren't exposed to hazards, it may not be the best choice. Safety vests should be available and worn. Supervisors and leaders should ensure that they are used and enforced as such. The safety officer should always carry spares. Just because there should be a vest for every vehicle seat doesn't mean there always is. Consider having a vest assigned to the person versus assigned to the vehicle. And remember, vehicle visibility and traffic control enhance our own safety. We need to make sure all equipment meets requirements and that responders wear high visibility vests when responding on the highway.